Well, Kay,
Crystal.
welcome back.
Welcome.
You're listening to Kay and Crystal's Small Business Sorted podcast. And today we've got a really interesting and great topic. One of my ones I really enjoy talking about. Talk about a lot every week. Pricing. And we wanted to cover more around understanding the psychology around pricing.
Right.
And how that affects. We all price differently, don't we?
Yeah.
So I wanted us to talk about money mindset first up and where that is formed initially. So, what is that? So the mindset that we get is often formed when we are living with our parents as kids.
I know where you're going with this, Crystal.
Where am I
I've
going,
already
Kay?
told you.
Where am I going?
My dad.
Yes, I want to hear your dad's story.
My dad
when
was-
you grew up, right? This is your money mindset,
Yeah,
right? So
it
it's a
is
good
absolutely
example.
me. It's absolutely me. I guess it comes from, we never really had a lot of money, but my dad always kept it. We never wanted for anything. Not really. But what I was saying to Crystal before was whenever I wanted something, the answer was usually no.
No.
And I'll never forget that. It was always no. So when I grew up, I went shopping and I found something I liked, I bought it.
Yeah.
And if I liked it a lot, I often bought two. But saying that, I've always been careful with money. Always. It came from my family, my dad always being careful with money. It was a good thing, not a bad thing. And
Was there a particular saying in your family that you used to have, like waste not, want not?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Waste
Money
not, want
doesn't
not.
grow on
Money
trees.
doesn't grow on trees, yes. There's probably lots of them.
Yeah, I always know the waste not, want not.
Yes.
Look after the cents and the dollars or the pound will
That's true, yes.
follow.
It was pounds and shillings and pence when I... Now I'm letting people know how old I am. But
Well, that's it. And I feel that the other sayings that I remember is that money is evil.
I never heard that.
Yeah, we heard that.
That's not a nice thing to say.
No, but my grandfather
Yeah.
was part of the Baptist church ministries that used to go into Lesotho and places like that
Okay.
in South Africa. And I think that probably came from there. Money is evil. Or, have a champagne taste on beer money was another one that
Okay.
you hear a lot.
Yes.
It's probably more in Australia.
Yep.
And then that the one that we used to hear a lot when I grew up was that my gran used to always say, waste not, want not.
Yeah.
And I just always remember that. My background in money mindset is probably a little different to yours. My parents were I always remember they didn't have a lot of money, and then my dad got into business and suddenly we had a lot of money. He came from a very poor family. My mum came from a fairly, I don't know, like they were farmers. They weren't overly rich, but they were quite successful farmers. So my mum probably didn't want for much, but she was very careful with money. Whereas my dad, because he didn't have much, when he did get money, he liked to spend. He would take us to the steakhouse. We'd go on holidays and all of that sort of stuff. And I think I have a little bit of that in me. So
Right.
I do save, and I'm very careful with some money.
But when you want a BYD, you go out and buy one, right?
I just do it. But I also make sure that I can afford
Yeah.
these things. If I couldn't
Yeah,
afford them,
no.
obviously I wouldn't,
No,
know. But
no.
but that's sort of, and my biggest fear is to live in poverty.
Yes.
That to me is, and so how does that play out in our businesses, right? So if we think about it,
I mean,
we all have.
careful.
Yes,
Be
but we have that
careful.
money mindset. And I heard on a podcast yesterday, this guy with NLP, that neuro-linguistic programming, he was saying that most entrepreneurs or most people that start out in businesses, especially when they're younger, have a philosophy that money comes easy. Now, that's another saying.
That makes sense. That makes sense, though, that entrepreneurs think that.
Yeah.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said the biggest challenge you have with people that, well, money comes easy so they can lose easy and they'll make it easy again. And I think, does that happen for them?
Probably. Likely. It's almost like betting, isn't it? Sort
A
of.
little bit. But if you think money comes easy, then maybe money does come easy.
Yeah. Well, and then you're not
if you
worried
think
about
money
losing
is
it.
hard,
Yeah.
hard work. The other saying, you've got to work hard. Do you remember that
Yes.
saying?
Yep,
you,
yep.
you know, to get anywhere, you've got to work hard. You've got to work at it, right?
Yep.
So that's another money mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel like you have to work really hard to make money,
Yeah.
how do you think that'll play out in your life?
You're going to work hard.
You've got to work
I
hard.
work hard. I've always worked hard. I've never made a lot of money, in case anybody was thinking. I sort of tried, but it didn't happen. But I'm quite happy where I am.
Yeah. And I mean, that's probably the most
I'm
important part.
comfortable.
But I think this is what, and so just to bring it back to pricing,
Yep.
the money mindset is what influences all of us in our business and why we all make such different decisions in our business around this. So when you've got a sense of scarcity and you're constantly worried about every cent in everything that you do, you often won't progress your business fast enough because you're so worried about that.
Correct.
Whereas if you had money comes easy, you probably expand faster because you're happy to risk some of that money in order to grow and to do different things.
Yeah.
So I feel that we need to just underlie everything. So for anybody who's listening, I'd love for you to think about those sayings that you grew up with. What do you think your money mindset is?
Yeah.
Are you a spender? Are you scared of money? Is money your friend?
Yeah.
Or are you one of those people that's afraid of money? You've got to work hard. It's scarcity.
Yeah.
And I feel that will probably be playing out somewhere in your life and also in your business as well.
What's going through my mind at the moment is there are all these, they're not influencers, people who, such as Morgan Nelson, who I went to the Gold Coast last year to Dreamfest to see him speak.
Oh, yes.
He had no money. They always tell you their story.
Their story.
He was broke, had no money, was drinking on the job, committed suicide or tried to, and then he's come back from that, and now he's making millions.
Yeah.
But they always tell you that you always have to invest something. You have to invest money to make money, which is probably true. And I don't know if I should say this or not, but I go to his conferences and I love them and they're very inspirational. But anybody who won't commit to those beliefs or his program, he calls them bobbleheads.
Bobbleheads.
So I actually think I'm a bobblehead. I'm not,
what the hell is a bobblehead?
it's just what he calls somebody who doesn't commit. If you won't commit to all these things that, you've got to do this and you've got to do that, and you've got to do the other, then it means basically that you're not committed. So you're a bobblehead. I haven't told him I think I'm a bobblehead. But
so how did bobblehead play out in your business when you had your bookkeeping business?
I mean, I think when I started, I was very reluctant. I hated talking to clients about prices.
Yeah, I remember that.
I would actually avoid it. I'd send people a quote, an email. I wouldn't tell people on the phone because I hated those discussions. I always underpriced to start with, always underpriced. I wanted the business, but that...
Is it a lack of confidence to charge more?
Yes, a lack of confidence, a lack of not understanding my value. Some of it, to start with, I guess, is what do you call it when you fake it till you make it?
Oh, I like
a bit.
That saying, yeah.
Yes, I knew bookkeeping. Yes, I was qualified. No, I hadn't. Yes, I was an accounts manager for years, but no, I hadn't been an actual bookkeeper. So this client-bookkeeper relationship was all new.
Yeah.
So, I guess I felt a bit of a fake at the beginning.
Imposter?
Yeah, an imposter syndrome, that's it. And it played out in my pricing. So, and within at least a year, I'd regretted quoting those prices because it's very difficult to recover from quoting a cheap price to a client and then suddenly saying, "Oh, I'm going to double it now." So you need to be careful, price it right from the start, and that's what I did learn from. Although I was first class accounts then, I suppose I didn't have the confidence. Later, when I was part of the strategic bookkeeper program, I had the confidence and I was given the tools to quote
better,
accurately and better and feel more confident. So
yeah. And for those clients that you undercharged for right at the beginning, did you lose any clients in the beginning?
I don't really think I did. No, I've pretty much kept. There were a few that I slowly, I wouldn't say got rid of. That's not the term, but moved on from. But most of my clients I kept, and I kept them at the lower price. I just charged the new ones the higher price,
the better price. Yeah, when you'd worked it out. I think pricing is just such a personal thing. So when you look at your money mindset and your confidence and where you are in business, and how do you charge out? And often, I think I could speak about Jim, right? So my husband Jimmy in Hire Happy, he's you'll hear a lot about him over the different sessions, I'm sure. He doesn't mind me telling these stories either. But Jimmy, when he first started out, he was also very like UK. He also likes to be liked, very high S, high I. Loves people, loves his customers, but he always kind of undercharged a lot. And he always used to say, but I wouldn't pay that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay that. So how could I charge them that? And it was really hard to get him to understand. I mean, that was 15 years ago now. Now he charges a lot better. But those early days, it was really hard for him to think that a client, and I said, but the client doesn't always know what you do. You've got the skills, but they don't. And they are probably in their head, they're thinking $1,000, but you're only thinking $400.
Yeah.
And I said, so you're missing out on that money that's sitting on the table basically, but you're not going for it. And I said to him, it took us a while, but he always put in his head about that. And I think he also had imposter syndrome massively initially.
Yeah.
And I think it's something we all have to learn. I think it's very common. I don't think it's unusual. But what we did to help Jim get through that, we actually, the admin girls, I used to say to them, because I was getting so frustrated of how low we were pricing things and the profits just weren't as good as they should be. And I said to the girls, I want you to add.
Did you tell Jim this?
But
afterwards.
But afterwards. We did it for a month, and we added, I think it was 40% to everything he quoted. 40% on everything that he quoted. He didn't know because the girls would send the quotes.
He didn't want it.
Well, yeah, and I deliberately didn't say to him.
Otherwise.
And then we were winning these quotes, right? And then he would go and he'd ring me. He goes, the girls have made a mistake, Crystal. Oh, my God, we've overcharged this client by so. And I said, no, we've done that. We've been doing this for a month. And he goes, so we're going to have no work going forward. And I'm going, no, we've actually won. I'd say we won about 70% of them. And I said to him, we've got plenty of work and we've won 70%. And he goes, at that price? And I go, yes, it was at that price. And he goes, oh, my God, have I been? And then it dawned on him as to that it was him that was the issue. And not because he was adamant that if he charged a different price, he would lose every single client.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to lose clients. And he has that thing about wanting to be liked.
Yeah.
So and he didn't want to be, and you don't want to be dishonest. Like you don't want to be greedy, as they call it. But there is a fair price in the market for what your value is and what you deserve to have, right? And I think it's finding where your value is to charge.
And you don't need to forget that your pricing should include the cost that you have had to incur for your training, for your qualifications, for your license. People tend to forget that it's cost you $20,000 or whatever to get to the point, to get the experience to where you are now. So people tend to forget that in their pricing. And people, customers certainly forget that when
They do.
pay you.
Well, I don't think customers realize that. But I think talking from a customer's point of view is probably different a little bit. Let's just keep it on the business owner just for the now. But I feel that when you're pricing, so if we want to get a little bit more into the nuts and bolts of pricing, yes, taking into account your experience, your skill set, your knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the stuff that you do, the average person may not be able to do well or accurately or do it as fast as you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And also you need to also work out what your break-even point is. And how would we do that, Kay?
Yeah, well, you have to write down all of the costs.
Yeah, all
related.
your expenses.
Yep.
So you would write down all your expenses, say, on a sheet of paper.
Yep.
And you would then work out, wow. And then you work out how many
And then
clients, your hours.
You work out, what margin you want to make to work out what your price
because that's
should be.
breaking even, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
that's on making a profit.
Yep.
Yeah. And doing that exercise will often help you understand whether you're hourly or whatever your your value is, what you need to make to cover your expenses and plus make a profit.
Yeah.
And just keep it all realistic. And then that gives you a very good idea as to where you are. Obviously, the bigger you are, the more your expenses are, but then the more work you do, so it kind of spreads out anyway. But I think that is probably a really good way. So you just add up, your car, your petrol, your insurance, your workers' comp, your rent, if you got rent, wages, your wages, super.
Yep.
Admin,
don't forget your
bookkeeping,
wages.
accounting.
Yeah.
You've got to add your wages in. And that way you can then work out what that price needs to be or gets close to be. And then that way, that's how you kind of make a profit, isn't it?
Yes, it certainly is.
It's kind of how you make a profit. The one of the other things is attracting the right type of client for the pricing.
Just looking at, yeah. If you have a low price, often you attract the wrong type of client.
Yeah. How did that work out for you then? Because you were undercharging.
Yeah, it's probably right. Charge too little, and there isn't a saying, is there? It's the opposite. If you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. It's like if you charge peanuts,
you're gonna get monkeys.
There should be a saying, shouldn't there? Anyway, there must be some.
It's a bit reverse
psychology, but you certainly attract. There is a saying. You attract what you something, but I can't think what it is. Maybe somebody can.
You attract what you settle for.
Something like that.
So I feel that so to find the right clients, what changed in your business then for you to find those right clients? For you to get more money?
I think I didn't really change too much. I actually think the original people would have paid more. So I don't think I changed the clients at all. I just changed me, my philosophy and my pricing.
Yeah.
The clients would have probably paid the higher price to start with.
Yeah.
So it was probably my own mind that was saying these people don't want to pay. Or I so desperately want these people as clients, I'm going to charge them way less than I should do. But they would have accepted a higher price. And the people who... obviously, there's people who even won't pay that, but then you just don't want those people.
Yeah.
Not as a business owner, you can't. Some people can't afford. Some people can't afford to pay for bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Or whatever else it is. And if they can't afford to pay, well, sorry. I'm not a charity. I'll help people as much as I can, but I have to run a business at the end of the day.
And I think you've got to. We've got our money mindset as to how we've got our own imposter syndromes and we've got our own lack of confidence in charging initially when we start out, that desperately want to keep our clients or want to get new clients. Imagine what your clients have a similar set of mindset, right? So the customer has their own money mindset. And so you have these customers who really could benefit from your services.
They won't pay.
And they won't pay.
Yep.
And then they're asking you to bargain and drop your price, and yet they just won't pay for it, but they know how much value they're getting from you.
Yeah.
And that's difficult too, right?
I think for me, being in the business I'm in, it's a lot of people don't value bookkeepers. So there's a general problem or mindset to overcome in the first place. People probably value tax accountants more. Not that there's a comparison really, but they're willing to pay for that service. They probably value, I don't know, I'm trying to think of who, business coaches more. Some people don't. Again, it's down to what you value, what the client values, and what value they see in you. I think you also have to persuade in the service type, the businesses we're in, persuading or explaining to a new customer what your value is very important.
Yeah.
If they understand and know, and you can, what's the word?
Investment?
Yes, to explain to them or encourage, to show them that it's an investment, then you're more likely to get that customer. So I think pricing is all about explaining your value to the customer.
And
it's all part of it.
How would you explain your value to your
Well,
customer?
with me, I'd probably go through how I can keep their business on track as far as figures are concerned, profit and loss, to give them the comfort that nothing, if I saw anything, any red flags, I would tell them. And that cash flow forecasting is something, budgets, you can always add, as a bookkeeper, you can add on to the basic reconciling.
Yeah.
So what else can I offer you, Crystal? I can offer you, would you like a cash flow forecast, for the next 6 months? Do you want a budget? A plan for the next 5 years? I've just found a lovely program, Up Metrics, that does forecasts and plans, and it's just fantastic. It's got a lot of AI in it. So yeah, all that sort of thing that you can offer above and beyond the basic. I reconcile zero for you and I do your best.
I guess it's meeting what their pain points are. Yep. Right. And then making sure that you've got your price that would be, what you need to, you need to have your price point that you work towards, right? That is value for you, that you need to make. And then if you have the customer's price points, this is what I'm hearing, not the price points, the pain points, and you actually showing the value you can add that's going to help them with those working late at night too long, or not having a good set of figures to look at every month, not understanding their cash. All of that can save them hours and hours and also make much better decisions. What price do you put on that? Do you know?
It's the first time we've mentioned pain points, and that is one of the things that is probably the most important thing to look at when trying to attract new customers, their pain points. And it's usually to do with cash.
Yes.
Bringing to mind is, have you seen the advertisement on TV for the Zoho, the new MYOB app, which is it's very basic.
Yeah.
It doesn't do profit and losses.
MYOB?
Yeah.
Oh, with Zoho.
SOHO it's called.
Yeah.
The one where it's got a tradie saying, work, which is he's doing his bookkeeping, and work, which he's happy doing his trade. And it goes, work. He's going like this, work. It's a really good ad, but it's the same sort of thing. It's looking at their pain points. They don't want to be doing bookkeeping paperwork.
Because you've got to do it after hours,
at
right?
night, yeah. So I think it's a great ad for that.
It's not just tradies. It's like a lot of
anybody,
any service business, any small to medium business often does it out of hours, especially if they don't have someone to help them.
And when I was with First Class Accounts, I believe one of the ads, and they've probably still got it running, was to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Are you tired? Are you sitting up till midnight doing your books? Well, if you are, try and get a first-class accounts bookkeeper to do your bookkeeping for you. That was the
Yes.
whole ad, which is attracting, or not, it's not the word, their pain points.
Their pain points, yeah. And I think with pricing and getting that value for, I mean, this is all interlinked, isn't it? That if you continually aware of your customers' pain points and you're continually delivering on alleviating or making their pain points less, people are going to be less likely to leave you.
Correct.
And less likely to query your price because you're giving them, they can justify in their mind, because I think the sales process, which is a whole nother conversation, by the way, the sales process really is people are always finding confirmation to why why they can spend that money, but they need that positive confirmation as to why, and often it's meeting a very strong need that needs to be fixed inside of them. So that sort of comes back to that sales thing. But if you do what you've just said, I think that is just so powerful. And, you know, and that's that value again, isn't it, that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. I like that.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just looking here. So business owners that are working really long hours often can have low profit, and they say they're working really long hours and I don't know where the profit is. And one of the areas that we often have to look at is that pricing, right? Like you and me, right?
Yes.
And often when you break it down and you look at what that break-even point is and you go, okay, well, let's have a look at how much you're making on your per job. So you really do like per client, per job, per client, per product. So what you really need to know is how much you are making on that. If you only looking at a total monthly sales and you don't actually ever work out what that particular job or service that you're doing is making, it's really hard for you to know if your pricing is right or wrong, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like you need to, and there's so many systems and new apps and stuff like that out there, job management systems and all CRMs that capture this. You can really get all of that to work out what it is per job. You can even do it on a spreadsheet if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But I think understanding that can make a huge difference to your pricing and getting that right. And I think once you have that right, it's then how you present it to a client. And like you said, like would you be more comfortable to have a pricing conversation now, do you think?
No.
Still not.
What I've done now, I don't have to have those conversations anymore because I have subscriptions.
Yes, okay.
I do have an hourly option, but all of my stuff is on a website. It's a Stan store, and all of my options are on there. So I don't have to have that conversation.
That's what it is, and that's what it is.
That's what it is. That's what you get.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't have to have those conversations anymore. Yeah.
But it's interesting. So yes, subscriptions could work that way as well. I know what's helped Jim in Hire a Hubby with pricing is that he will, when he has to have that conversation with the client, so he'll say, I'll just zip out to the truck and he'll quickly work it out and then he might come in. What he does is he works out what the hours are. He works out what his materials are. He'll add the admin fee or whatever other charges he wants to add in there. But he'll roll it all up into one price.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes not having that broken up into hours and materials is better because then
people
that way
can't be
people
picky.
can't. That's right.
Yeah.
Because some people say, well, you know, can we do it for, you know, just have one guy or they'll pick it out, whereas you roll it all up into one.
Yep.
And I feel that can help you with your pricing as well.
Yes.
So, and it might be easier just to say, you know, for all of that, and this is what you're getting, can also help people with that as well.
Yep.
And you remember there was that you can also do proposals for clients as well. So I think you had proposals out of Proposify, if I remember.
It was Ignition. Practice
Ignition, yeah. I had another client who does Proposify. And that is just such a wonderful system. So what he does is he has a good chat with the client. He then goes off and then takes everything he's heard from you. He's now using AI to capture that, which is really cool. So he actually gets the exact words you use now. And he puts that all into Proposify, puts his pricing in. He actually puts testimonials in there, he puts photos in there. He's actually got a video of his website. It's got everything in there, who we are, what we do. So it kind of shows the professionalism of his business. It's presented very well. That gets sent to the client with the price. He then has a meeting with them. He's already pre-booked that meeting in, and then he goes through it with them.
Yes.
And then there's no surprise. The customer's already seen it, but if they've got questions, he can go through with it as well.
That's what Ignition does as well.
Yeah.
And what Ignition also did, and Proposify probably does, you could send the client 3 different options. Option 1, basic reconciling your bears. Option 2 will include budgets. Option 3 will include a monthly review of your profit and loss and a sit-down meeting. And they could accept whichever, one was $200 a month, one was 3, one was 4. You could accept whichever one you wanted.
Wow.
So that was good. And they also had videos that you could put in about, your business and stuff. So I loved
I really
Ignition.
like that.
Yeah.
And it's just reminded me too, I did a course with this Leanne Elridge, I think her name is, and she does neuroscience, and she does it on pricing
Okay.
and sales.
Yes.
And I just did the course a few weeks ago, and it just prompted me now to remember. She reckons you should always be nudging the client. So what you show them is something that's
a bit more,
because people need a price reference. So you would say, like she gave an example of, say you were going out to buy TV and you went into Coles and you bought yourself some, I don't know, a Mars bar, right? And that's like $3 or something. And then you walk into JB Hi-Fi and you buy, and you see the TV on the thing, and it says $4,000, and you go, whoa, because you've just nudged yourself with the Mars bar. But you said if he went into the shopping center and he went into, say he went into another store, like a clothing store or something, and he bought a pair of shoes that were like $400 or $500 or $300 or something, and then he walks into that, then suddenly the TV set doesn't look as expensive.
I'm not sure I I'm not sure I get
anyway,
that.
I've probably done a bad example
Yeah.
here, but what she was saying is that so what, and even with the alternative board and that, what you do is you show what your biggest package is, your everything package.
Yes.
So say it's like, $12,000 for that. And then you could then put
Take things
exactly
out.
what they need as next to it. So then they have a reference point and go, oh my God, that seems like that's too much. I wasn't thinking that high. And then they see yours there, say for $5,000, and then they go, "Oh yeah, that's exactly the sort of price I was thinking about." So it's basically helping people to compare, because she said when they say that's really high, she said you should say compared to what?
Okay. Yes.
Because what are
Yes.
they comparing it to? We don't know what's in their mind that they're comparing
True,
it to.
true.
So compared to what? And they may not know. And she says,
Yeah.
out of her research in that, a lot of people don't really know what they're comparing that to.
That's very true.
So she said, then you can help them to understand, because what do they compare it? They go,
Yeah.
often they will say, I don't really know, but it just feels like that's too high. This is the kind of price I was sort of thinking. She goes, okay, well, for these kind of services, and this is how much time, and this is what the value you're going to get, then you can help people to justify why they would want your service.
The other thing is you can include every service in your quote, but then when they say, oh, sorry, I think it's too expensive, you can say, well, I can take out this, payroll. I can take out the budget. I can, to reduce it, but at least they know
What they don't
what
need.
they
And maybe
could
there's stuff there
have
they
and
don't
what-
need.
Yes. So, that was interesting, Chris. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that.
Oh, thank you.
I like that.
The other thing she said, which I thought was really interesting, this is just a little bit aside, that when, and this is a little male biased, but it basically, she said that men will buy, if they go into a store and they see the price in red,
Okay.
men will generally buy when the price is in red.
Oh, really?
They will buy that more than if it's in black. And
Okay.
she said it's like, She's not sure why that is, but with all her testing that she's done, and she thinks it's because red means special, and they'll think it's on special, even though it may not be.
Yeah.
So she was saying that on your proposals and everything, if it is a male, do the pricing
In red.
in red.
Okay.
And she also said, this is just something else, which none of our job management systems or Xero does, but she said the total price should be in the top left-hand side of the page, not in the bottom right.
Okay.
And the psychology behind that is that if things are at the bottom of the page, it feels more heavy
Okay.
and less lighter and maybe more expensive.
All right.
Whereas if it's at the top of the page, it feels lighter
Okay.
and perhaps less expensive.
Very
That's
interesting.
what she was saying. Yeah, it was really strange.
Yeah, wow.
And another one, just quickly, we could cut this out if we don't want it.
No.
But she was saying if your pricing has too many syllables in, people tend to not want to buy it. So she said if it's like $12.13 and say $112.13, there's a whole lot of syllables in that. Where if you go $100.12, it's got less syllables in and it's easier. It feels cheaper or less expensive in a person's mind.
Okay.
And that's the psychology behind why how people buy.
Okay.
But
Wow.
which is more of a sales conversation, but that does affect our pricing as well. So I think giving people a couple of options
Yes.
could possibly work, because then they can have a look and see what is a normal price and what is, and on Xero and a lot of these places they go most popular, and that's also why they do that, because it's prompting people to look at all the other pricing and go, oh, that's the most popular one.
Yeah.
So people
And
want
the
to be like
subscriptions.
what everybody else is doing as well. So
Yeah.
that's another sales technique to get people to buy.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting, actually.
Yeah. So to sort of clarify, I guess the other thing is if your price is too low, you can sometimes have, if your price is too low, that means you're not making enough money. So often if you're not making enough money, if anything goes wrong, it means you lose money, right? Or if you've made, or if the customer wants more, or they're not happy with something, it means that you're actually going to lose money because you haven't budgeted for any overages or anything like that, right? So, and often you will get, the lower the price, the higher the demand.
Yeah.
And also the complaints and the stress, because you're already feeling like, damn it, I'm not making enough money on it. And it's not that you're resentful, but it's tighter, right? So you're more aware of of what you're doing there. So sometimes you may not be, I don't know. It's not like you don't want to do the work. What would the word
if you don't feel as though if you're not making any money doing the work, you may resent doing the work, and you don't enjoy it. There's just a psychological thing there, isn't there?
That's
isn't there? Why am I doing this for this person because I'm not making any money, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand how you would feel.
And then if the customer complains and says you've left a little mark, say a cleaner, you've left a little mark on that table, and they already only pay, a low amount, and you're already feeling like, geez, they're getting such a bargain here, and then they get demanding, then that kind of makes you not like that customer even more.
And the relationship.
And then the relationship gets affected, which isn't great, right? So that's just something to be aware of if you are underpricing and why you should really
Something
think
I
about
wrote
it.
down before on up. Pricing isn't about what you think you're worth. It's about what your business needs to survive. So pricing isn't about what you think you're worth. It's about what your business needs to survive and grow.
I like that.
I like that too. It's very true.
It is very true.
And your pricing isn't just a number. It's a reflection of how you think about your business and your value. I like that one too. I like that one better. But
Say that again.
Your pricing isn't just a number. It's a reflection of how you think about your business and your value.
We're back to values again.
I know.
But how important is values to the whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the value, yes.
And the other one that I just wanted the listeners to reflect on, am I pricing for profit or just to get the job?
Yeah.
And I think And am I attracting the customers I really want? I think it was my key takeout for today.
Yeah.
What was
My key takeout was you talking about the lady who the pricing.
the psychology of pricing.
Yeah, that was.
I know, it was such an interesting course. It really was.
Yeah.
Well worth doing. And that's actually part of sales. So sales is another topic we might have to, and maybe we could get Leo to come in and actually talk a bit about it. You never know.
Yeah.
We can only try. But yeah, it was very, very interesting. And I might share some of the other learnings from that. But it was very interesting.
Yes, that was
over 6 weeks. Well, thank you, Kay. I've enjoyed this topic. I know we could have gone a lot deeper on some other tech, the
I think it
mechanical
was
prices,
good.
but this was more around the psychology of pricing. And but thank you for sharing and definitely your mindset. And thank you so much for sharing that. And we'll see you on the next one.
Yep.
So
see you next time.
You've been listening to Kay and Crystal and Small Business Sorted. Thank you.